Hey guys, so we're back, and I'm hoping that the homework that I gave you wasn't too hard, and I'm pretty sure that you guys were pretty much able to handle it. Didn't give any specific instructions on how to, build that part, the last section, this section right here. I kind of wanted you guys to have freedom and just do whatever, pick any format and like I have three input fields and then a message text area span across the width, and this kind of layout like this. You could pick any layout you want, like maybe just all of them stacked next to top of each other or whatever. I wanted you to have that kind of freedom. Also, you didn't have to use this kind of um, that's whatever it's called. It's just basically the one that the label is down here, and then when you press it, it just goes up like that kind of. It's whatever. You could have used the outline, or you could have used the filled component for the text field. It doesn't matter. There are so many different variations, and you can adjust your own flavor of it. So that's good. But now you're gonna see me do it myself, and then that way you can just cross-reference what you did with what I did. But if what you did, I mean, as long as you have a form, as long as you have something on the screen, you don't have to do what I'm doing. Just you know, but if you never got this off the ground, if you never got this page, this not this page, but this section off the ground, and you had a hard time building it, and you want to play along with me here and just do it along, that's fine. Also, we can do that. So let's get to it. So we're not gonna need the footer here, or well, we are going to need the header just briefly here because eventually we're just gonna go ahead and add this link just like we did to the about. We're just gonna go ahead and add it now since we're already here. It's gonna happen eventually, so why not just take care of it now so we don't have to come back. And so we're gonna go to that contact. Make sure you save that, and then now we don't have to worry about visiting the header again, so we can just get that out of the way. Let's leave the styles there for now. We don't need the project anymore, so the index is the only page that we're going to be working on. Alright, so let's close this for a second, and this is where we are going to be working. So I'm going to open up these brackets. So the first thing obviously is we're going to reproduce basically what we have here and put that down here. And this one is going to be the ID that we're linking to from the headers, which is contact. So now we have functionality to get to it by clicking on this contact right here. But however, if you do that now, nothing will show up. You will have nothing to link to. So we still have to build some stuff to put in there. So just like everything else, everything starts with a paper and container, and you want to have some kind of a build structure that you set up. So we'll just start with getting this paper and adding it here, and there's the my auto clause right there, so that's good. So let me see. So we're gonna have it's gonna be square paper because it's gonna just round corners or anything. Class name. Let's leave the class name empty for now. We're not gonna use the same one as over here, light paper, because we don't know if we're gonna need it. The padding bottom we probably will need. We don't we don't know yet, but I think we're gonna need some kind of padding. And that's pretty much it, I think, until we find out later if we're gonna need a class name or not. But for now, this is all there is to that. All right, the next thing we're gonna need is going to be a container. So as you can see here, it's basically the same thing. Container large. Container large. There you go. And now we can do that in there. Let's keep opening this up and see what else is in here that we can use. The typography, which is basically the section header. Sure, we will need that. So we'll add that in there. And this one is going to say, if you're following my same website here, hire me. So we're going to use that. And right here, hire me. Okay. Light section heading. So the light section heading was, okay, so this is for the about. Let me see what the light section heading does. It's basically, it's going to be a dark letters. I want it to be white, so like the about me right here, it's going to be white. Let me see. Yep. So it's going to be white, like the about. So did I have to do anything to that? Let's see. Section heading, just section heading. So we'll use this class that we use for the about me and the section heading. That way you know that the text is going to be pretty much the same. So let's close the project one. Actually, we're gonna keep using the about one. So there you go. Just paste it on that. All right. So what else we got going on here? Now we have a text. We have a long text saying, hey, I'm great, hire me, I know my stuff. So that's basically another typography. So using the one from the about here, this long one here. So I'm gonna get that. But you know what? I wonder if it will be a good idea to, you know what? Just put it. I was thinking maybe to start a grid and open up a grid right there, but no need. We can just add it without a grid. It's gonna take the full width of the page anyway. So, all right. So here, I don't feel like typing a bunch of stuff and that information there. That is, it's. Let me see. Is this? Okay. So yeah, this is already random text. Okay. Sorry. I thought I was getting that from my site for some reason. So I didn't want my personal stuff in there. So since it's already random text from the random text generator, we can just leave that there. All right, so that's pretty good. So now let's just see what we got going on so far. So let's just save that. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. And this is not, where it's gonna end. We're gonna have more stuff added to it. So we're looking pretty good. All right. So if we go to the about, we go there. If we go to the project, we get there. If we go to the contact, we'll get there. We do. It's just that it doesn't come all the way to the top because this is pretty much the end of, the bar ends right there. This is the end of the page, right? So it doesn't get all the way up here because there's nothing underneath it for this to actually be up here where you would expect it to be. This right here will have to be larger than the viewport. But don't worry, it will be because we're going to add a form in there anyway. So, all right. So now we're going to get to the part where we add a form to it. All right. So here's the thing with forms. There are many ways to add a form, obviously, and many ways to connect to it that you can not connect to it, but to have it work so that it actually works for the user and sends a the email to you when someone is using the form. You can have it. You can have an email form here attached to a Node.js page that process the server-side code for this service. The process it basically makes the service to the backend. The backend sends the email to your email provider. So you could do that with any kind of backend language. You could use Node.js to do it. You could do PHP to do it by using the PHP mailer service that they have out there. If you're working with C#, you could do it with C# as well. So there are many ways to do it. Now, this project right here is built purely on backend. So what we're going to do is that we're going to wire it up to an external service called GetForm. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to collect all the information, send it to GetForm, and GetForm is going to do the email processing part for you. This is not the professional way to do things. This is basically just so you can get your portfolio working and so you can actually get emails out there. Do not attempt to do this in in a real professional environment. For this kind of stuff, you want to use a backend language that will process for you, but this is not the course for that. So eventually, I'll have a course out there for Node.js and how to handle things on the back end for the with Node.js and things like that. But not not in this one. All right, so let's continue. So we are going to now build the form. So we go to Material UI to get the form stuff. Right there. So what do we want? Text field. Text field. Yeah. So let's start with the text field here. And so I ended up choosing this one, right? So it's the first one, the basic standard, text field. And I wonder if they have an actual form layout already. Layout. Let's see, layout. What does layout do? So the form, the prop, vertical spacing and inputs and yada yada yada. Okay, looks good. All right, let's open that up and see what's in there. So basically what you're getting from here is the React, which we already have, and the make styles, which we already have, the text field, which we will get, and then we have here display flex, the flex wrap. You wanted to actually, yeah, okay, you wanted to do that, and then the spacing between text fields and the width that they should be in. Okay, and then the actual stuff then building out here. So it's pretty much the same. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna build it. From scratch, basically. All right. So right underneath the not underneath the container, underneath the typography. Okay, where is it? Right here. Okay. So underneath the by the closing of the typography, we're gonna start our form in there. Okay, and first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up as a form tag. Okay, and why is it closing on the wrong? It keeps doing that to me. I wonder if I forgot to close something. Typography, containers closing, papers closing right, section is closing right, my other section is closing right. This is so weird. It's it almost is, it looks like it's yelling at me for missing a closing somewhere, but everything looks fine. All right, well, my ID must be on the fritz. All right, so we're gonna add a couple of properties to the form. All right, what's going on? Format changes. What did I do here? I wonder if this is trying to tell me something, and I keep ignoring it. But I don't see anything, so I don't know. All right, we're gonna add a few stuff to this. So we're gonna add a no validate attribute, okay, and we're gonna add the autocomplete. We're gonna set that to off, okay. We don't want what I mean. This is all pretty short, right? Pretty easy stuff to figure out. And then we're gonna add an unsubmit. And actually, I'm gonna talk about this in the next video. So let's just leave the unsubmit out for now. Okay, now inside the form, let me just close that. And now inside the form is where we're going to actually start building our layout. So the first thing we're going to need is we're going to build a grid. Okay, so in the grid we're going to have obviously a container, and then the items in the container are going to have a spacing of 3 whatever spaces, whatever they are. I don't know how they measure this out. Alright, so you should be familiar with this already. We've done this before. Okay, now inside there I'm gonna use 3 items across, right, for the 3 text fields that I'm gonna add there. So I'm gonna have 3 grid items, and they're going to expand across the screen at my smartphone size, and at my tablet or above, then they're going to take a third of the screen, right? So a third is 4. Remember that, because if I want to put 3 items, that's how I'm dividing the screen, by thirds, right? 3 items, 1, 2, and 3. So that's 3 times 4 is 12. It all adds up to 12. Okay. So now that I have that, I can go ahead and open this, and open this, and open this. See, now it's stacking up correctly, but I needed to do this kind of weird stuff here, so like an indentation there. Alright, whatever. I get worried with little simple things like that. Just I like cleanliness when it comes to my code. I like proper indentation. I like things organized. Trust me, it makes, you see how I close a lot of things that I don't need, and you want to make sure you do that kind of stuff. Trust me. Some people will appreciate it. You know what it is? I think every time I do something like this, I keep clicking on this bar here, and that's why I get this. Alright, cool. So I'm not doing anything wrong. Alright, so now we're gonna add the text field. So pretty simple. We can just come over here and grab one. Okay, just like that, for example, and add it on to there. I don't know if we even add in the right one. Let me see, which one am I grabbing here? If we're gonna do this one, we're gonna do the first, the one from the very first. So yeah, so this one is the big one here. So we're gonna use the one that says some important text, default value, some important text, this one. Okay, so we're gonna grab this one. I'm gonna grab that, and I'm gonna put that in there, in here, and tab to close that, and then I'm just gonna copy all of this and add it to my other one. Now, you probably, if you have auto, when you save it, it should add it to here, to my text field. So when I save it, it didn't. Okay, so I probably had it turned off. So you see how the text field is not defined? That's why. So you just have to add it in here, and then save, and now it's defined, so it'll work. So that's basically all I wanted to show you. So that every time you add a new component, make sure that you don't have it already, or that you need it. And if you don't have it, then you just gotta add it. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of the class name for now. So let's get rid of the class names. We're gonna leave it like that, and then we're gonna change some of the stuff here. So labels. So for this one, it's gonna be name. We'll call it full name. Let's be more specific. Full name, and then the next one is going to be phone number. And the next one is going to be email. Email address. Okay. And so the ID, it could be whatever, but let's just change the ID to full name and phone number. They have to be unique, and they have to be semantic, so that way you know where you are and what you're doing to it. And I like to use camel casing. Okay, so we have that default value. I don't think we don't need a default value. They're gonna be pre-filled if you do this. So get rid of this. And the helper text is basically what's on the bottom of it. And I don't think we're going to need a helper text as well. That's basically this text in the bottom, some important text. That's for explanations on how to use it or whatever. I mean, who doesn't know how to use a text field for full name? So we don't need that. Get rid of this. Alright, so we have those three, but we are going to add some extra ones that is not showing there. Like for one, we're going to use a size. So size is going to equal small. We want it to be we don't want it to be the very large one that comes out of the box. And the margin, we're going to keep it dense. These are all attributes that are in Material UI. You can read into it if you go to the actual component and look at the API. We're going to use full width, and the reason we're going to use full width is not that it doesn't mean that it's going to take the full width of the screen. It's going to take the full width of the container that is holding it. So it's going to take the full width of 4, however this big might be. So once it spans across the screen, it will be as wide as 12, but once it's small, it will be as wide as 4. So it's just basically adjusting to its parent container, not to the entire window object. So it's not going to be as big as the entire screen. Alright, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to need give it the color secondary, so it's not purple or anything like that. You already have a color secondary assigned to it in the what do you call it, in the themes file. And now we're going to give it a name. So this one is going to be name. The name of this one is going to be name because of full name here. So we're just going to copy this and put it there. Then everything will be the same except for the name. This one is phone number, so we do telephone or tel or phone or whatever you want to name it. And this one is going to be mail or email, something like that. Okay, hit save. Let's see where we are so far. We're almost done with this. Okay, we're good. We're looking pretty good. Okay, maybe we need a little bit of padding on the top here. Alright, but we still got a little bit more to go with. So now that we have this, we need one more. So we're going to copy that, and in the bottom of it, we're going to add one. But this one is going to stay 12 the whole time, all the way up. Okay. And so this one is going to be, the label is going to be message or comments or whatever you want to call it. I like to just say message. Wow, that is not message. Okay, message. And the ID, probably message. That's fine. Size is small, dense, whatever. And then the name, we're going to just do message like that. Just keep it small. Okay, so what this did is basically add this thing right here, this big one right here. So as you can see, it's kind of small and it makes it look like a regular field. So we're going to add I wonder why it was still giving me this is still giving me the default value in it. ID label. I'm not even adding its default value. That's crazy. It must have cached into it. All right, we'll figure that out in a second. All right, so so as you can see, this is kind of like small, right? Like a regular text field. So you want to make it look like a text area. So the way that you make it look like a text area is by adding a couple of extra attributes here, and one is multiple. No, I'm not sorry, not multiple. Multi-line, and then adding how many actually lines you want. So rows is about 8 maybe. Yeah, 8. Alright, so let's actually refresh this to see if this goes away. Let's go to your contact. Yeah, that is, yep, that is actually right. Yeah, that is right. Okay, so this is perfect, and now we just need to add a little bit of a padding up there, and then we need to add a button. So let's just, before we go up there, let's just add a button. Okay, so one more grid of 12, because we want this grid to span across for the button to be so here. So we're gonna add another grid there, and then in this grid we're gonna add a class name actually, because I know that we're going to need to push this button to the right. So we're gonna need in this classes, and we're gonna call it align right, and we'll go upstairs in a minute and put that in there. But we're gonna add a button first. So come over here. I know this I'm already at 25 minutes long, but I figure I'm just might as well just finish this. So we're gonna use this primary one right here. This one is fine, and I'm gonna add it in here. And it's going to be just send is fine. Variant contain, color primary, and the type is going to be submit, and that's fine. Send, all that is good. Okay, good. So now the only thing that we need now is yep, I'm gonna make sure that we add the align there and give this form also some kind of padding above and on top, because I think it's a little bit too yeah. So before we actually go all the way up, we already copied. I already have this copied, and I can paste it when I get up there. But here on the form, yeah, on the form itself, since it's not that big a deal, we can just add it right here. We can add a margin top, and we're gonna give it about 40 pixels, and that should be good. So now let's come over here to the align to the CSS that we're adding here, and we're gonna add the align right class. And for the align right, all we wanted to do, okay, let's see, for the align right, let me see, I'm just making sure that I don't give you more code than you have to have. So we're gonna display flex it. We're gonna use the flex box obviously for this, and we're going to align items to the center, comma, and we're gonna justify content to the end. All right, we're good. So the last thing that we're going to need on this is going to be the actual color. I mean, not color. Image. Sorry, got drew a blank there. So we're gonna need an image that we're going to put in the back end. So let's see. For that, you're going to go to the page that we had before, that we had added before. What is it? This Unsplash right here, right? So go to the Unsplash website and look for an office. You know what? Any of these are just as fine. So, well, actually, let's look at home office. Home office. That is not a home office. All right, home office. You know what? This is great. If this is your home office, I'm jealous. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna save this one. Come on, work with me. Okay, so we're gonna save this one. We're going to save it in our files. I believe this is users, Lotus, training nav, tutorial, my portfolio, static images. Yep, right where we had the banner and all that. So we're gonna use office right here. That's fine, and save it. So now that we have it saved, now we can attach it to the page. So in the index page, down in the right here, yep, in the paper. So in the paper, we're gonna add the class name there. We're gonna add a class name, and we're gonna name this contact section. Contact section. Make sure that copy that, save it, and now we're gonna go to the styles, the main style CSS, right? And the reason why we're doing this way to the main style CSS is because I want to make sure that you have access to the little gradient thing, uh, color. So you can put a little bit of a gradient above the image, so it's not too bright. So contact section, we're gonna open a CSS tag here, and I'm going to go ahead and copy from my page, so from my own code, so that way we don't have to spend too much time on this, and this is just basically CSS. And you don't need the border here unless you actually want to. The padding is fine. The background cover you're gonna need, and then this is the part that you're going to change. So this is coming from what is it? Static. Okay, so static image. Okay, so it's directly from static, so we don't need that. So images office JPEG. Okay, and I think I am right. So let's make sure, and here we go. It's already showing. Perfect. So now you have your Hire Me page added, and I'm kind of jealous, man. I wish I had this office. Okay, so we're good. So we have everything set up, and the page is pretty much done, guys. Pretty much done. This is awesome. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to wire this up to get form, and we're going to stop this right now because this is probably the longest video that you ever had to hear me talk. So I'll see you guys in the next one.